Join me right now on Kumite Radio for the first time is Gerald. He is the CEO of World Lethwei
Hey guys,
Championship. What's going on, Gerald?
it's good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Let's start off with you. How did you become the CEO of World Lethwei Championship?
I used to work for One Championship back in 2013, um, doing public relations there for about 2.5 years, and then I moved on to sports television, a few different TV stations. So my current bosses here at World Lethwei Championship, they were planning to invest in Lethwei, and they've already had a prior relationship with One Championship, and they needed somebody to help guide them in terms of the fight world and how and to navigate fighters and marketing and stuff like that, which I've done in One Championship. So yeah, they offered me a job. I never been to Myanmar before that. Packed my bags and moved here and been here ever since.
All right, sounds good. How is life in Yangon?
It's good. It's good. It's fun. There's a lot of opportunities here. That's the good thing about a developing country that just opened up. There's tons of things you can do. Of course, there it comes with its own challenges, but Myanmar and Yangon especially is pretty special place to be right now.
Now, when you think about Myanmar, you think of like a country that is developing. What advantages do you have as a growing promotion in a developing country?
I think in general, I think that's one of the reasons why Lewis hasn't really got that famous compared to other traditional martial arts in the area. Myanmar has been kind of a hermit country for past 20, 30 years, and they're just slowly opening up now. Never had that boom of tourism that Thailand kind of had that helped to grow the sport there. Um, and now that Myanmar's opening up to the world, people are we the way we see World Lethwei Championship is that it's a platform not just for the sport of Lethwei, but also to exhibit the culture and the traditions of Myanmar. So if you see our events, there's Burmese orchestra, the fighters come out in traditional Burmese garments. So we try to integrate the culture because that's when you watch something like that on TV, that's our advantage, I guess, because it's not a generic fight show. There's a lot of culture and there's a lot of intricacies into the life of Myanmar.
Yeah, then you guys are definitely doing that with the shows that you guys put on. And also another thing that came out recently was Fight World on Netflix. If you go to episode 3, it focuses on Myanmar, it focuses on Letway, and actually World Lethwei Championship is, on the show. They go to a show. What was your involvement with the show?
That was a really cool experience. I think it happened about 2 or 3 events ago. Um, yeah, we just got a call from some of the guys who produced the show in the States, and they said um, they're doing this show and they want to showcase Leeway, and that's the entire reason why they came to to our show, and that's the entire episode is centered around our show, which was a really cool, fun experience, showing the host Frank Grillo around Myanmar and introducing him to different gyms, different fighters, and people involved in the scene here. Um, yeah, so we really think that that was a fantastic platform for us to showcase Myanmar to the world, and I think it opened a lot of eyes for people who watch the show.
Oh, definitely. It does open a lot of eyes and it reaches many parts of the world because Netflix is probably the biggest uh, platform on the internet where you can watch movies and documentaries and everything, right?
Exactly. So if you Netflix and chill now, you can watch Burmese Leeway.
Let way and chill, right?
Yeah.
All right. WSC, they had their first show in the beginning of 2017. Was it difficult to get started in the beginning?
Um, I think there were some challenges. One of the things World Level Championship does differently from the rest of the traditional Lethwei organizations is we really try to push the content to a global audience. So we tweaked the rule set a little bit, made it safer for the fighters. We introduced judging system, so which traditionalists were frowned on because usually in a traditional Lethwei match, if there's no knockout, it ends in a draw. And if somebody gets knocked down the first time, they can call it what is known as an injury timeout, and have 2 minutes to rest before they start fighting again. But we changed that to protect the fighters, introduce medical protocols, safety checks and stuff. And we introduced the judges as well to make the event more exciting. If you have a 10 fight card and 9 fight ends in draws, I think for Burmese audience they're used to that. But for global audience where you have so many choices in terms of what you can watch during that time, that won't be as exciting. So we decided to introduce judges to give a definitive winner. So when we started introducing all these changes, initially a lot of traditionalists were frowning upon what we were trying to do. But I think now that we've done 6 events and now that we've grown to where we are today, they've seen that we're not removing the essence of what Lethwei is really about. We're just tweaking it a little bit and making it suitable for the global audience to enjoy.
Was there a lot of backlash, or was it very minimal?
There was a little bit. There was a little bit. We needed to explain a lot, and I think for first 2 events, maybe some fighters were not sure whether they wanted to be a part of this. Some gyms were hesitant. So there was a bit of growing pains, but I think as time has gone on and as they've seen how our show is done, we've pretty much cornered the market in terms of Lethwei now. So yeah, so it's very, very positive now.
Yeah, I think once you get the fighters on board, you get the gyms on board, the fans will just follow eventually.
Yeah, and I think the fans see it too that traditional Lethwei events is 5-6 hours long. We try to compress hours into a 3-hour show and give them as much excitement as possible in a short time frame, which works for every event.
Yeah, nobody really likes sitting through 5-hour shows, 6-hour shows. I don't care how much you like fighting.
Yeah, it's too long. It's too long.
For the promotion, you currently have 3 champions. You got Tutu, middleweight champ. You got Arthur Salidoc.
Yep.
He's the light middleweight champ. And then you got, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, Saw Ho Ong.
Yep.
The light welterweight champ. Am I saying his name right?
So he's Saw Tuong.
Okay, Saw Tuong.
And he's a light welterweight, but we have 2 belts. We have the World Championship belt, which is Tutu and Arthur, and then for Saw Tuong, we created a different belt, which is known as the National Championship. The belt itself is silver instead of gold, because I guess there isn't enough talent at that weight class yet, but we wanted to develop that, so we created a national championship for the local guys coming up in the ranks to fight over.
What is happening with the champions? Are you planning on having them defend their title really soon?
Yeah, so our next event is probably middle of January, and yeah, we'll definitely have at least one world championship fight during that event. Yeah, we're just trying to figure out now viable challengers and who should be next in line to compete for the belts. But both Tutu and Arthur are ready to defend their titles.
Are you planning on introducing new weight classes, new belts?
Yeah, so we have middleweight, light middleweight. So the next one that's most likely will probably be will be welterweight, which is in Lethwei it's 67 kilos, 135 pounds or so. So that'll probably be next in line. We have a few fighters at that weight class already. One of them is So Ling Wu, is a really, really famous Lethwei fighter. And yeah, we'll probably introduce that in the next event or two.
What is the talent pool like in Myanmar? You know, how, like what kind of percentage of people are actually practicing Lethwei?
I think it's huge in certain parts of the country. Um, in the past, there hasn't been that. Um, People like to watch it, but nobody really wants to practice it because they don't see the viable career path that they can go down. But I'm hoping that World Level Championship is slowly changing that. So we're we want to show uh, potential up and coming fighters, aspiring fighters, that we are giving you a platform on the global stage where you can showcase your skills. We have partnerships with One Championship, with a few other promotions around the world where you can travel to and you can test yourself in different martial arts. So, uh, yeah, we're hoping to change the perception of Lei Wei as a poor man's job.
You mentioned that you have a partnership with One Championship. You know, a lot of people speculate what this partnership is. Could you define the partnership?
Yeah, so what, even before World Level Championship was formed, the chairman of World Level Championship, Mr. Zetiha, he's always been interested in mixed martial arts and martial arts. Sponsored the first One Championship event in Yangon, and then decided to use One Championship as sort of the inspiration behind why we launched World Level Championship. Um, and till today, every time they come to Myanmar, we are the official event partner. So we help them with permits, we help them with government relations, we help them with getting Burmese fighters. Yeah, so we have a close working relationship with One Championship.
So, fighters that fight for WLC, they can actually go fight for One Championship.
Yeah, so we've actually seen that a few times already. There's been a few instances where um, when One Championship has events in Yangon that some of our fighters fight on those cards in mixed martial art rules.
Wow, that's incredible because that is showing people of Myanmar that you can actually take this professional sports career and make it into a real career, not like what you said earlier is it's just like a dead end type of job.
Yeah, and it's more fun for them too because you get to test yourself in mixed martial arts in all the different martial arts disciplines and get to travel the world in different countries. So it's we do it as not just to grow the sport of Lei, but also to grow the people and the involved and really elevate Myanmar and the Burmese culture as a whole.
Now I see that you guys are bringing in a lot of foreign competitors. Is there a lot of interest from fighters around the world?
There is actually there's always been interest in Lei because of how it's marketed. People see it as the last frontier in terms of if you've tried kickboxing, if you've tried mixed martial arts, this is the last thing you can try. Uh, but as we've grown and as we've seen how big World Level Championship has become, we've got kickboxing world champions coming to our events. We've got interest from ex UFC fighters, so it's really growing heaps and bounds, and we always get messages and calls from fighters all around the world who want to test themselves in their way.
Earlier you mentioned that you work with other promotions, not just One Championship. What are some of those relationships you have going on right now?
Uh, we send our fighters to Thailand, to Cambodia, to China, and it's sort of a reciprocal relationship. So when we have our events and we need fighters from certain countries, they send their fighters over. And when like we're trying to create a better relationship with the fighters in Cambodia. So we're sending our fighters there and they're sending their fighters to our shows as well. So it's kind of like a mutually beneficial partnership.
Yeah, it seems like Cambodia is also a market that has been untapped until recently and is
Yeah,
growing fast. Are there a
yeah.
lot of Lethwei fighters or competitors in Cambodia?
Um, the Cambodians are really, really passionate about their own form of martial arts, which is Khmer boxing. Um, and what we did for our last Lethwei event is we signed the number one Khmer fighter. And the second we announced that signing, we had 20,000 more followers on our Facebook page. So I guess that's how we grow the sport. We just bring in their top fighters, test. So you get interest from both countries, and yeah, and I think because of that, we get a lot of new fans in all these different countries.
Yeah, that's incredible. You've had 6 events so far, all in Myanmar. Any plans of having events outside of the country of origin?
Yeah, that is the next step that we plan to take. We have a few different things in the works. What and one way we're going to grow the sport internationally as well is we're going to start a kind of a reality TV show in the vein of like the Ultimate Fighter and all the other competitions. The first season will be entirely for Myanmar in Burmese and targeted at the Burmese audience. But the second season, what we plan to do is bring in fighters from all over the world and compete in Lethwei, and the winner gets a five figure contract with World Lethwei Championship. And of course, we want to do our shows overseas as well. So we explored different countries: Singapore, Thailand, Philippines. We'll definitely do an international event in either 2019 or 2020, somewhere in the region.
If a fighter is watching right now, watching to this interview, this podcast, and they want to compete for World Lethwei Championship, how would they get connected with the promotion?
Hit me up or just send me send a message on Facebook to World Heavyweight Championship. We've got a lot of fighters that want to fight for us, so I wish I can have all of them, but um, we try to bring in the world champions in the other disciplines to try to win a belt somewhere. Be the best in kickboxing or be the best in wushu, and then yeah, and then we can discuss how we can work together in the future.
Now, with the promotion, what needs to be done to spread the art of Lethwei to every corner of the earth? Do you believe?
Um, I think it takes time because it's so new. We're coming from a point where people don't even know what Leeway stands for, so we have to really introduce to them the entire sport and educate them about it. So I believe we have the product now that can do it. It's more about time, getting exposure to new audiences everywhere, TV deals, and um, as we continue that progression, we just need to keep growing and before long, I think we'll see like Leeway gyms in England, in Spain. We'll see fighters from all over the world who are training exclusively in their way.
Well, Jared, thank you for your time, man. It was good talking to you, and we'll definitely keep talking and seeing the development of WLC in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and best of luck.
Thanks,
And
man.
come out to Yangon one day.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, I will.